Hi, my name is Jim Evans, President of Gannon Wealth Security Partners. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to watch our video. Our videos are to help you understand the strategies you need to help protect you, your family, your business, and future generations. Those strategies will be all wrapped around retirement planning, estate planning, tax mitigation, and asset protection. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and make sure you leave comments below so that we know exactly what you want to know. That's what we're here for. Thanks again and enjoy today's video. Hi everyone, my name is Jim Evans, President of Gannon Wealth Security Partners, and welcome back. Today we're answering questions from an email that I got asking me to explain whether it's better to put more money down than the bank actually requires when purchasing a home. So for today's example, I'm going to use some numbers just so that you get the idea of it. I don't know the specific numbers of this person, but the idea will speak for itself. However, this strategy takes into account whether or not you personally know yourself well enough that you have the ability to leave that money sit in the bank and use it for a good purpose and not spend it frivolously. So some people will put more money into their home so that they don't have that money to spend. That's not going after this strategy, okay? So for simple, this should be very, very quick. It's a very simple idea to understand is, let's say we had a house for $500,000 that we're looking at buying, right? The bank tells us that we have to put down $100,000. We have $200,000 in our savings account, okay? So I hope you guys can see this, $200,000 in the savings account, okay? So we're gonna forget about the closing costs and that kind of stuff. We're just gonna get to principal and down payment here. So we have a $500,000 house. We take $100,000 out to put down the house. We have $100,000 of equity, and we have a $400,000 loan, okay? The loan in this instance doesn't really matter. It does matter from the perspective of, can you afford the monthly payment for the mortgage? You know, those factor into your decision. But from the, what is your money doing? Is your money working for you, right? When we're looking at house values going up or down, we're only looking at equity. So if the house value goes from $500,000 to $600,000, right? We have $100,000 in equity here, right? We have $100,000 in equity that we started from, and we still have $100,000 in the bank. So we have $300,000 total, right? Now, let's look at the alternative. Let's say we bought the same $500,000 house, but we put the full $200,000 that we had in our savings account in to the property, okay? We have $200,000 in equity. The value of the home goes up to $600,000. We have $100,000 in new equity, $200,000, $300,000, $300,000. Nothing changes. It doesn't make a difference. The difference is in the first strategy, we still had $100,000 in liquidity. So if something breaks, if something needs to be fixed, if there's an emergency with your family, if there's medical expenses that need to be paid, if life happens, you have money here. In this instance, you've put all the money into your home. Now let's look at the reverse scenario. If the $500,000 house goes down to $300,000, right? You now have a $300,000 mortgage still. So you have, I'm sorry, the mortgage doesn't really matter. You have it goes down to $400,000. You only have $100,000 in equity. You have a $300,000 mortgage, you have $400,000 house, that's $100,000 in equity, right? Over here, house goes down to $400,000. That's how you know I'm not editing these things. So the house goes down to $400,000 in equity, right? And now you have zero equity, but you still have $100,000. There's no difference. It doesn't change. The only time it would drastically change is if you had a movement of your house's value to, let's say, $300,000. So if this was $300,000, right? You have zero equity in your home. In fact, you're underwater, right? Here, you have zero equity plain, right? But now you have no cash outside. Here, you still have $100,000 in equity, or $100,000 in the savings account. So it really comes down to personal preference. But when people think about putting more money into their home, there's a lot of different factors you have to think about. Yes, you have to think about the mortgage payment. Yes, you have to think about the interest rate. Yes, you have to think about the longevity of what you're trying to accomplish and building equity. But when you put more money into that home, you're also going to reduce the amount of interest that you're paying and the amount of interest that you can write off. You may not be changing the monthly payment that drastically. So you have to think, is it worth having $100,000 in the bank, or is it worth dropping my mortgage payment by X amount of dollars? Those are the things that you really have to think about when you're deciding which strategy to go with. Okay, now while we're on this topic, the two kind of go hand in hand. So let me just kind of kill two birds with one stone here. Sorry for the saying for any bird lovers out there. But the other question I get all the time is, Jim, I'm looking at buying a home. I want to know, what would you do? Would you do a 15-year mortgage or a 30-year mortgage? Which is better for me? Well, assuming that you can pay for the 15-year mortgage, you can afford the mortgage payment every month, then I would say your best bet is, let's just use, for example, 30-year mortgage is $2,900. 15-year mortgage is $3,300, right? There's a $400 gap here. My strategy, again, because every dollar that you put into that home, you're paying interest, but you're also building equity, right? So now I'm tying the additional money, that additional $400 every month that I pay, I'm also tying that to the value of my home. Now, we just proved that if the value of the home goes up, it really doesn't matter. Equity is equity, right? But the difference is every month I'm going to be putting more money into my home, and if the value does go down, then I'm tying that money to that investment. And I'm tying it with it going down to a negatively performing investment. So you have to remember that. But what I tell people is, take this additional $400 a month and put it away. Or put it into another vehicle. Let's say you did use the example where I still had $100,000 in my savings account. I don't need to build my savings account up anymore. So what do I do with that $400? There's a lot of investments out there that you could use that would help you get at least a little bit of a rate of return outside of your home. So now you have two vehicles that you're getting a rate of return rather than only attaching it to one. Okay? The other reason I tell people to do this is, again, life happens. And that's why when you're working with an advisory team, they can't work in a bubble. They have to know you. They have to have seen enough clients that they know what could happen, and they don't stretch you to the max. Okay, so you have $400 a month extra. Well, you build that up. Well, let's say the holidays come. Let's say birthdays are coming. Let's say you have a bunch of weddings this summer. There's all types of expenses that could happen all in 1 month. The water heater breaks, the washer and dryer break, any type of appliance goes, right? You want to have money over here, right? So you might not have, in that month that you have that additional expense, you might not have the $3,300, or you might rather have to pay a $2,900. Well, that's great, because you only have a $2,900 monthly payment versus $3,300. So in addition to building up a savings account over here with putting the money in, also having more flexibility here than you would in a 15-year. And you have to remember, if I'm putting that money into a savings account or into another vehicle, that money's going to grow too. So I'm building equity and my savings account. So at the end of 15 years, you got to take a look at where you're at. So you might rather have it that way than asking your bank to give you a home equity line of credit or a collateralized loan or a second mortgage, right? And then have to pay an interest rate for dollars that you put in on your own anyway. You're actually asking the bank to loan you back your own money. So I'd rather have it built up on my own and have that money that I don't have to pay an interest rate for over here. So just a strategy. It's food for thought. It's just supposed to be to open your mind to another way of doing things, hopefully providing a lot of value to you and your family when you're getting ready to purchase a home, or you're getting ready to purchase a new home, selling your home, purchasing a new one. These are different strategies that you can use that help free up your cash flow, help allow you to save money outside of just your home. So I hope that helps. Don't forget, like us on Facebook, double tap on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please, please comment. This question came from a viewer, and we answered it. We're gonna answer yours as well. So when you get a chance, if you have any questions, if you've heard something from a friend, write it in the comment, ask, we'll get to it. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.